Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world.
He went on that high note, OjyOkpe, really.
Emphasis on the name.
As always, why not?
Perhaps the chance to see you everything. You didn't see that coming.
I didn't.
I
never see it coming. Even when Dr. Abati has been doing it for years, he always takes me unawares. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning. Beautiful this morning.
Thank you very much.
How are you? Perfect. Good morning, Kayode.
Morning.
Excellent.
So good to see you.
You too. Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In Israel, 85-year-old Yocheved Lifshitz, one of the hostages released by Hamas, recounted her ordeal on Tuesday. She and her 83-year-old husband, Oded, who remains a hostage in Gaza, were among more than 200 people taken by Hamas during its surprise attack on Israel on October 7th. She described her harrowing experience as hell that she never knew before and never thought she would experience.
She was taken through the plowed fields with a man in front on one side and a man behind her. And that while she was being taken, she was hit by sticks by Shabab. Yeah, Shabab people.
Then, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, on Tuesday renewed his demand for a ceasefire in Gaza, stating that international law was being violated in the war between Israel and the Palestinian armed group Hamas. Speaking before the 15-member UN Security Council, Guterres said that it is also important to recognize that the attacks by Hamas did not happen in a vacuum and pleaded for civilians to be protected.
The attacks by Hamas did not happen in a vacuum. The Palestinian people have been subjected to 56 years of suffocating occupation.
Subsequently, Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, Gilad Erdan, called on the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to resign, stating that there is no justification or point in talking to those who show compassion for the most terrible atrocities committed against the citizens of Israel and the Jewish people.
The proportional response to October 7 massacre is a total distraction to the last one of the Hamas. It is not only Israel's right to destroy Hamas, it's our duty.
In Iceland, the country's Prime Minister, Katrin Jakobsdóttir, joined other women across the country on strike to push for an end to unequal pay and gender-based violence on Tuesday. All-male news teams also announced shutdowns across the country, with public transport delayed, hospitals understaffed, and hotel rooms uncleaned. Trade unions, which comprises 90% of the country's workers, called on women and non-binary people to refuse paid and unpaid work, including chores. In Nigeria, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, on Tuesday, during the quarterly consultative meeting with leaders of political parties, said that the commission is concerned with the spate of recent judgments on candidature in the off-cycle elections in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi. Yakubu insisted that reprinting of election materials in compliance with court orders within a short period of time is not only expensive, but also very challenging.
The reprinting of the materials in compliance with court orders within a short period of time is not only expensive, but the management of the process is also very challenging for the Commission.
Under sports, Milwaukee Bucks forward Giannis Antetokounmpo on Tuesday agreed to a 3-year contract extension worth $186 million, which will see him remain with the Bucks till the end of the 2026-2027 season. The 28-year-old Greek-Nigerian athlete, who is regarded as one of the best players in basketball and guided the Bucks to the NBA Finals in 2021, confirmed his contract extension in a post on X with the caption, Milwaukee, let's get it. Hashtag extended.
Antetokounmpo on the fade, it's good! At the buzzer!
Finals MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Our Adetokounmpo. Adetokounmpo. I mean, he's Greek, so he changed his name that way. But congratulations to him. He's our diamond, as Muhammad Buhari would say. Congratulations. Well, let's begin what's trending. The planned purchase of sports utility vehicles for members of the upper legislative chamber, which has generated several reactions from a cross-section of Nigerians, took another dimension on Tuesday after Sunday Karimi, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Services, said that based on the analysis that was done by the procurement unit, the committee approved Land Cruiser SUVs for the lawmakers, and that after assessing the condition of the bad roads in Nigeria, the committee arrived at the conclusion that the lawmakers will need durable vehicles that would last the next 4 years. Let's take a listen.
The senator has that they approve a Land Cruiser for us, and somebody that is a minister, you have more than 6, maybe 3 Land Cruiser, Prado, and other vehicle in their convoy, and you are not asking them questions. Please spare us a bit. And this vehicle that you take, go to Nigerian roads today. If I go home once to my senatorial district, I come back spending a lot on my vehicle because our roads are bad. And the issue of buying vehicles for National Assembly, you know, it's a reoccurring decimal. Every assembly, it will always come up. We should at least let the public, let them have a little trust and confidence in us. If you go to state houses of assembly today, check out. Most of them, before they were even inaugurated, the governors will have bought vehicles waiting for them. Even local government chairmen, I know the vehicle my local government chairman is using. So why National Assembly alone?
Rufai, sorry, I know you've been cracking up. I mean, let me just take a reaction from Brother Bath, whose tweet I loved. He wrote, "Now, Nigeria Senate may be silly." He had 5 points that I picked. 1, the Nigeria Senate's attempt at justifying the purchase of 160 million naira SUV for each legislature, comparing that with the ministers, who it claimed has as much as 3 SUVs per senator, is absolutely silly. The Nigerian Senate should be calling the ministers to order if they are wasteful in spending of public funds, especially now that millions of Nigerians, including children, are malnourished and going through unprecedented difficulties due to failing economy, largely due to failure of governors, while many are killed almost on a daily basis due to insecurity. 3, the argument that they chose to procure the SUVs from Toyota because of its durability is even sillier. 4, at this point, the Senate should be found encouraging the other arms of government to patronize Nigeria vehicle brands while it leads by example. 5, Naira is headed to 2,000 Naira to the dollar, and the Nigeria Senate is grandstanding the idea of importing vehicles worth billions of naira from Japan. This is really as senseless as it is insensitive and unthinkable. Who says that the Nigeria brands are not durable, even if the brands are not at present as durable as their Japan counterparts? How can they be supported to improve? Should the Nigeria Senate know that public procurement of this local brand is the easiest and most sensible way to support them to grow and improve? Japanese vehicles are better on gas mileage than American brands, yet while many private users in the US buy Japan, US government stays with US brands. Same with UK, Germany, France, Sweden, and Republic of Korea. Rufai, I mean, I love that tweet. I'll come to you. Only yesterday we were talking about, Ben Bruce saying that we should, support the Nigerian economy by growing our products. He talked about even using innocent vehicles. But I mean, Sunday Karimi's statement there really got me. I was quite embarrassed watching it. I know you're saying
like Papa Jasko was saying. Mr. Sunday Karimi's arguments
he was
in that statement reminded me of a diary session in Big Brother, Nigeria.
Yeah.
Funny arguments. Let me destroy all the arguments. Number one, it is very bad for you to call Nigerian brands are not good. There's a particular Nigerian brand, Oji, I don't want to mention because of advertisement.
Okay.
That the thickness of the panel of the body steel is bigger and better than the Japanese brand they are going for.
Toyota. Better than Toyota, right?
I mean, I don't want to call our brands because of the sake of brands.
Yeah, well, he said it.
No, I'm not calling
You're
our
not
brands.
advertising. Well, it's shameful.
Secondly, you can make Nigerian cars based on the spec the Senate wants and keep that money here. So that argument of spec and all that. Secondly, the argument of bad roads. How did they used to go to their constituency before they became senators?
I love that you brought that up.
That's number one. Another argument to that bad road talk is, it's not an indictment on them that the road to their villages is bad in the first place.
I mean,
are they not supposed to lobby there to be able to fix it for the people? So they have the temerity to talk about bad roads. Thirdly, the Naira is going to 2,000. You see, let's not deceive ourselves. That's why I had to call a spade this morning. After government borrows all this money and we defend the economy and the currency a bit, what happens after we don't have more money? I hope we know that most of these borrowings are against future sales of crude oil. So one way or the other, we are going through a turmoil. This 50-something billion could have stayed back in Nigeria, but they want to fritter it abroad, while they can share it among Innocent and some other local brands, and Nord and the likes. The other part of the argument is, where is the sense of national pride?
Absolutely.
Have you ever seen an American president? And this even goes to the presidency. The president's official car must be Nigerian made if we are serious in this country. Have you ever seen an American president drive a Japanese brand? So the president too is culprit. The president drives a German brand. Let's start from the president. They can make specific cars. Because you see, when Peugeot Automobile had that deal with the Nigerian government, all government cars were Peugeot Automobile. This same incumbent president, when he became governor in 1999, his official car was Peugeot Automobile. It was because the Nigerian government had a deal with Peugeot Automobile there in the 70s. So let's start from the president. He too must drive Nigerian-made cars. And we must cascade it across all the ministry to be able to boost the auto sector. So I'm sorry, all the arguments of the Senate, this man, the president, the senator that spoke for the Senate, is dead on arrival. Like I said, it reminds me of funny talk like a diary session in Big Brother Nigeria. We shouldn't be doing this to ourselves.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you are comparing yourself to local government chairman. Are you kidding me? Is there anywhere local government chairman, they are collecting money from the entire post to buy cars for the entire 704 local government chairman? And if you want to compare, why don't you go and be local government chairman in the first place?
Right.
They also told another lie. To be able to debunk all the argument, they also told another lie. That they want to buy durable cars so that in the next 4 years, that's not true.
No, absolutely
that's not true because
they say the moment you drive a car out
God bless you, the value reduces and they sell it for cheap. So if they want to make that argument, why are they not using it? I mean, OjyOkpe, let's not talk.
Absolutely preposterous. I mean, we don't have much time, but Kay, I would like your, I knew you wanted to talk about this. So just quickly so I can take the next story.
No, the bottom line is they all know that there is no way they can say that the moment you drive a car out of the place where you bought it, the manufacturer, that the moment you take it out, it loses value. Absolutely. The truth of it is, look at what they bought in 2019 and check the price of it, especially with the rate of dollar now. Those cars that you buy for 16 million some 4 or 5 years ago, they will still sell for about 16 million. Because of the price of dollars. Look at the price of dollar then, look at the price of dollar now.
I mean, they must revisit this whole charade. I mean, you cannot ignore the outburst from the Nigerian public. This is quite important. It's a lot. 57-point-something billion naira will be spent at the end of the day.
Ridiculous.
It's a lot. Well, let's take another story. Highlighting the case of Femi Olaleye, the managing director of Optimal Cancer Care Foundation, who was sentenced to life imprisonment on Tuesday for raping his wife's niece For over 20 months, Dr. Olaleye was convicted on a 2-count charge of defilement of a child and sexual assault by penetration. The defense counsel had claimed that the survivor was tutored by the defendant's wife to lie against the defendant as part of the scheme to take over his property. The judge ruled that the prosecution was able to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt and ordered that the doctor be confined to prison for a long period of time to convey that the justice system frowns on sexual violence and recommended that the doctor's name be added to the Lagos State Sex Offenders Register. What would I say? This thing has been going on for a while. Justice at last. Before I come to you, Ayo, in the same vein, the judge of the Rivers State High Court, Eberechi Wike, on Tuesday, advocated for the amputation of people found guilty of defiling minors. Justice Wike, who is the wife of the immediate past governor of Rivers State and minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, made the comments on the sidelines of the Second National Conference of Family Court Judges, Magistrates, and other family court practitioners in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. Judge Wike insisted that the current punishment isn't drastic enough, adding that the move will deter sexual offenders from molesting minors. I mean, this is not the first time we've heard of this type of advocacy. I've heard some governors' wives advocate for the castration of rapists. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but also would like for you to tie it in with the first story and the fact that, you know, the doctor's name will now be added to the Lagos State Register for Sex Offenders.
Yes, okay, thank you very much. I think this story is a welcome development.
Yes.
And I must say that at this point, we've come a very long way in Nigeria with regards to rape cases. I must give kudos, especially in Lagos State, to the Domestic Sexual Violence Agency. It used to be DSVRT, headed by Titi Lola Rhodes Vival Adeni. I say that because this case was actually the first time Dr. Femi Olaleye was arraigned in court was November 2022. And so it's taken less than a year to arrive at a decision. And I think that is remarkable. Yes. We often talk about justice delayed, is justice denied. In this case, it was swift. We followed the proceedings, and he was given the maximum sentence. Now, according to the criminal code in section 358, the punishment for rape is liable, or definition of rape was clarified, and it provides imprisonment for life. And this goes to the arguments of some people who say that perhaps this penalty was a bit too stiff and why was it given? That is actually what's prescribed. Rape is a felony and it is punishable with imprisonment up to life. And this is what Justice Rahman Oshodi gave to him. Someone else whom we must also acknowledge in this proceedings is the public prosecutor in Lagos State. They took on this case. They did their investigation such that in the ruling of the judge, and he was praised for giving very detailed, over an hour in terms of the reading of the judgment, as to the justification for his sentencing and why it was without doubts that Dr. Femi Olaleye was found guilty of these crimes. I think it's also important to note a lesson from this, is that the reason why this really came to light was that his wife was the one who brought this news out. And she was castigated. She was, had his family members. There was a voice note of his family members, his mother and his sisters, who had placed curses on her for doing this, putting shame on the family. But the real person who brought shame to the family is Dr. Olaleye for defiling a 15-year-old girl who was put under his care and whom he was meant to be a father figure to. And he abused her trust, abused the trust of his wife, and abused the trust of the people who trusted in him. So I really want to say thank you to the Lagos State judiciary system and to the DSVA, Domestic Sexual Violence Agency, and the governor of Lagos State, I must say, because he has empowered that agency such that we are able to see high profile, in some cases where we've seen justice. Remember the case of the Chrisland teacher as well, also got to a conclusion. He was sentenced as well. He's serving his time. I think it is brilliant, and we must continue on this trajectory so that girls and boys can feel safe. By the way, the criminal code doesn't recognize rape with boys or marital rape. So that also has to be looked into. Yes, because boys, and there's also marital rape. So kudos, great job so far.
Did I miss the point that you made about castration of rapists?
Oh, okay, castration. Oh gosh, when I saw that, I was like, maybe I want to say that his wife is, you know, when they're married, you know, Governor Wike. So I would find her court quite interesting. I'm not sure about castration, because there's no one who is not redeemable. But I believe that the stiff penalty of life imprisonment is good enough for rapists.
A lot of people have, said that is a bit barbaric. I mean, that's some people have said that, Kayode. We'll take another story. A certain member of the Dunamis International Gospel Center, we took that story yesterday, appealing for a refund of his tithes because of the dire economic hardship he faced, got a response from a pastor of the church, Pastor Ezekiel, who back in February admonished him, his name is Onyema, to seek forgiveness from God as well as help from the church rather than trying to blackmail the church. We took the story yesterday. It was back in February that it came out. I mean, it got a lot of reactions, by the way, but it says a lot. I mean, the only thing that I heard from that church, I mean, while I was doing my research, was just that admonishment. I don't know if this Onyema actually got help that you were proposing yesterday, but it brings me to my next topic about prayers and the church. Sorry, Pastor Ayo. We're going to talk about the church again today because a recent study by StatiSense revealed data about the League of Praying Nations, which showed that 95% of Nigerians say that they pray daily. We are the second highest in the world, by the way, after Afghanistan. Well, let's take a look at the statistics of the top 9 countries of those who pray daily. Let's look at that. Here, look at that. Number 1 is Afghanistan. Number 2 is Nigeria, 95%. Then we have Algeria at 88%, Senegal at 88%, Djibouti at 87%, Iran 87%, Iraq 87%, Niger 87%, Indonesia. Then bottom 9, which is China at number. China don't care about. Can we pull up the other graph? Because I want to do another type of comparison. This one is prayer versus terrorism. Again, Afghanistan tops that list. And then there's another chart, if you can pull that up. Prayer versus corruption rank. Again, Nigeria is number 2. I mean, what does this say about our nation? Kayode,
there's a lot of issues there, and it boils down to the fact that prayer alone is not the answer or solution. It is not the fault of churches. It is not the fault of anybody. If you fail to do the right thing, morals is more important. It is good to pray, but you can't just say that all you want to do is just pray, pray, pray. And with regards to the gentleman from yesterday, I will say that guy still needs help. Every church that cares, everywhere I've been around the world, churches care about people. Churches create food and opportunity for people to come and feed. When a young man goes out there and saying, I am on my knees and I am praying that I don't want to go to heaven anymore, I want to go to hell because of his poverty, then it means that we should deal with his poverty issue, and that should be the help of the church. That's the job of the church, to look after people like this.
But you didn't get a chance to make a comment yesterday about that.
No, this is blackmail. He's saying I want my money.
No, wait,
you saw the card. You saw the card.
Wait. That is Kayode's opinion.
So
but go ahead with your opinion.
Then you should go ahead and ask the church and say, oh, I need this. He can meet a blind pastor he knows and ask for help, not coming on social media to blackmail the church. And let me finish my point, please.
Yes.
You see, you give your tithe of your own free volition. Nobody put a gun in your ears to give it. All right? So go out there, serve God the way you want to serve him. But don't come out and be blackmailing the church in this space of because you want a trend and all of that. Please. All right? Religion is a private, it's a private relationship with God. So him bringing all the paraphernalia of the church out is just pure blackmail.
Well,
and it's not going to
This was back in February, and we need more clarity on the story. I can see you smiling. Unfortunately, we don't have much time.
And let me also finish with the point you made.
Which one?
There are a lot of churches out there that give to people. They do a lot of charity. So let's not undermine. Too many of them.
Absolutely.
Please, let's not blackmail the church.
So I always wish we have more time on what's trending. I'm sorry. Well, all right. I'd like to thank you all for your great analysis as always on what's trending. Well, that's all I have for you on what's trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.